Hey guys, welcome back to the episode. And today we're going to talk about if there's one piece of advice we could go back in time and give our 18-year-old self, what would it be? May not know this. We're a little older than 18. So giving ourselves advice looking that far back is kind of an interesting question to answer. For me personally, I'll start. I would have bought Bitcoin. I would have taken a lot of really weird stuff a little more seriously. Not all of it. Because, when you're young, you jump into, I think, probably a lot of things that I got into that were stupid. But there's so many things that I just didn't pay any attention to. I'm like, I should have probably looked more at that. I would have gotten a lot more serious about some things, a lot less serious about other things. And the other thing that's going to be a big thing for me in this conversation is my friend group. I really had no idea how much my friend group impacted the decisions I was making. And they weren't bad. They just weren't ambitious at all. And I found out that I was very competitive in sports, and that's why I was with that group, but I'm really competitive in business, and I had no business people around me. So I never touched that world. So I couldn't do any of that. If I even got into some of that when I was younger, I can't even imagine the deals I would have gotten into. The time when 18, God, the timing, rates were still high, prices were still low. There's so many things we could have done.
Houses were $195,000
$1,000 in downtown Huntington. There was dirt lots everywhere. It was insane. Yeah, I'll start with that part of the conversation, but that's the kind of stuff I would have gone into.
I would say fail more. I would stop, pretty much smack myself around and be like, hey, dude, take more chances, fail. Don't be scared about the opportunity of failure.
Fail more and fail quicker.
Quicker. Because obviously back in those days, you were, at least I'm speaking for myself. Back in those days, I wanted to be the cool guy. I didn't want to fail. I didn't want to look like a loser. I didn't want to be like, oh, dude, I tried this and I couldn't figure it out. Sucked. Obviously, it wouldn't just be one piece of advice that I would give myself. It would be, like you said, the circle of friends that I had. Who was influencing me? What was I really looking forward to in life? Because back when I was 18, I wasn't thinking about the future.
Yeah, weren't you? Where were you?
Gangs.
Yeah, some
gang affiliated. No, yeah, dude. I'm not ashamed of all the shit that I did in the past.
No, I think people should know it.
It wasn't the type of lifestyle that I would wish upon anybody. It's kind of hard. It's a double-edged sword because who I am now is what I learned and what I experienced back in those days. So to kind of be a hypocrite here and say that I would change any of those things, I think I wouldn't be the man that I am right now.
Well, oh, sorry, go ahead.
But I wish I would have been able to invest a lot of the money that I was making illegally back in those days.
Well, you could probably do it easier back then.
Oh man, it was a lot.
Think of the laundromats you would have owned.
Oh, dude, it was just obviously being aligned with people that had bigger and better goals was something that I didn't think about. Because back in those days, my life was gangs. It was a street, a neighborhood, being tough, fighting for reputation where no one freaking knew who the hell I was. It was insane back in those days, man. Like I said, I wish I would have not tried to be the cool guy or the tough guy and invested my time into learning more about investments, about acquisitions, about literally the circle of friends that are going to actually propel you or hold you back. And that was the catalyst to me. The only reason that I am here where I am right now is because I made a very hard decision where I just dropped everything and moved.
Yeah.
I was a product of my environment. And if it wasn't for the fact that I looked at my dad and I said, look, it's going to come down to this. Either I stay here and I lie to you and I tell you that I'm going to change, or you're going to either visit me in jail or at the cemetery. Your choice.
You were here, not Arizona yet.
No, I wasn't in Arizona yet. No, Arizona was where I decided to go because it was either going to be Las Vegas or Arizona. And if I went to Las Vegas, I probably would have gotten worse.
You were here. Were you in Orange County then?
Yeah. I never got too far. I've always been Orange.
Where did you grow up?
San Clemente.
Oh, okay.
And then, so I was 18. I went off to UC Irvine. So
off to?
Yeah,
all the way to Irvine?
All the way.
Back then, that's what it felt like.
15-minute drive.
I remember how they're like, oh, God, Irvine Spectrum's so far.
Yeah. No, for us, we would take bikes, we would take cars, I would go everywhere. I actually, we would never go into Huntington Beach, we would never go into Newport Beach. I never went into those areas because the people I hung out with, it was like you weren't wanted there.
Well, also, back then we didn't have e-bikes and things like that, and you had the bus.
Yep.
There was no Uber. You had to get there a different way. You had to get your ride. You didn't have cell phones. Didn't have cell phones. I didn't have a cell phone at 18. I got mine. I got it going into college. I don't think so. What's that?
I had a pager.
Pager I had. Well, yeah, everyone had a pager. That's so, almost everybody had a pager.
The Nokia phone.
The Nokia,
the Snake.
The Nokia phone. I had
the flip phone.
I had a flip
The
phone.
Razor?
The Razor. I had a pager, but then you had to find pay phones and stuff like that too. And you,
Oh man, I mean,
cab companies.
Well, before that, my parents couldn't afford phones, so I had a pager, and whenever my parents would call me, you would call collect, and when it said,
Yeah.
"What's your name?" I'd be like, "Come pick me up. I'm done with the movies."
Yeah. Can't talk. I go on the movies. 23 bigger. Yeah. But no, for me, the biggest thing, you don't know what you don't know, man. It's God. My dad's advice, I guess I would probably say take some of it seriously because you have that parent advice. Like I'm having this advice now with my 3-year-old. She is so clueless, like walking around and doing stuff. And she's like, I'm like, you are going to get hurt, like the stuff you're doing. But she
That's all part of it, right? You got to get hurt in order to
Oh
learn,
my
right?
God. It's like, but I can save you from this. You're going to fall off the counter, stuff like that. It's like, don't do that. But yeah, you're right. But some of my dad's advice was good advice. I think part of that led me into real estate when I did. But stuff like that. Like there was a lot of advice I just wasn't privy to. I probably would have gotten into self-development and self-education a lot earlier.
Yeah.
Because I did not have a peer group that was ambitious. I mean, my friends were all figuring out how do we not go to school, not how are we going to, make something of this. Now I caught up to that in life in a different way, but that would be a big one. I think self-development, I think saving, getting a lot better at investing. I did not learn any economics growing up.
I don't think there's any 18-year-olds that are investing.
I'm
too
glad
much
that'd be
per
good
se.
advice. Though.
Well, I mean,
I take it.
it's
Yeah,
it's
if
a
you
crazy
actually
world.
listen to yourself.
It's a
Well,
crazy
that's the
world,
problem.
dude. I mean, I look at it from my perspective. I didn't know what the hell credit was until I was like 21 or 22.
Credit, I know, right?
Right? I did not know what credit was.
Where you put the gas bill on your name and no pays it.
You didn't know shit. Back
Yeah.
in the days, my parents weren't privileged enough to actually teach us about leveraging, financing, credit cards, all that other stuff. My dad didn't want to be in credit debt.
No.
My dad did not want to do any of those things. All I knew is that my dad had really good credit. How did he get it? How did he obtain it? Who the hell knows?
Yeah.
He didn't even know himself. But he just knew that wherever he went to go buy something under credit, they would give it to him.
Yeah.
No questions asked.
Yeah.
So, and then I look at it from my perspective, with the knowledge that I have, my daughter who's 15 has a 798 FICO score. My son who's 18 has an 825 FICO score.
You put stuff under their name?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I learned that until they turn 15 or 16, it's irrelevant to put it under their name so young.
Really?
Yeah. It doesn't really track on their credit history and all that other stuff. So my daughter, when she turned 15, I put her in my oldest credit card, which is like my Macy's credit card that I have like 22 years established credit with it. And the minute that she got on the credit card, she was like,
a lot of Macy's shopping, dude.
I didn't even know I had it anymore. Honestly.
They let you keep it?
Yeah.
Oh, they like cancel like
No,
Nordstrom's
dude.
card. They're like,
No.
yeah, you're not using it for years.
I didn't even
Go
know
on.
that I had it. So I got that. I got that back when I was like, 18 or 17, when I was working at Macy's, and I still have the employee credit, like
Yeah.
the employee discount and everything else. So they just upgraded it to an Amex, so it doesn't have like a closed-end trade line.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm teaching my kids about credit, and like hindsight 2020, like what I would teach myself back when I was 18. Be around people that are educated with money, really teaching you about investing. I mean, my world was literally Orange County, Santa Ana, Bristol Street, McFadden. Like, I did not know that Orange County was as massive as it was.
Yeah.
Like back
I
in the
know,
days, I did
yeah.
not. Like I wasn't privileged to it.
So bang in. I was kind of a degenerate athlete. C's were fine for me. What were you doing?
You playing volleyball? What were you-
I played college volleyball. I had the aspirations to play professional. I always did since I was in high school. I actually started the sport really late. I don't want to derail the conversation about sports, but that was my whole life. I found solace in it.
Sports are good. I mean,
well, no, it was
gives you-
great. I
gives
just
you direction and kind of.
yeah, it gave me purpose and
Discipline.
direction.
Yeah.
Totally. But the other side of that is that's all the direction was. And I know there's tons of guys I am friends with now they've reached the highest level that world has. It's like gold medalist at the Olympics. And it's like 2 jobs now. Like that's it. Like it's like being a professional shot putter at some level. Like it's like you can be number 1 wrestler in the world, but it's like 1 or 2 people will make the money. The rest of people make a minimum wage.
Well, you got
And-
to translate that into relationships,
Absolutely,
network.
absolutely.
I mean, that's probably something we should
But-
talk about later in the podcast.
Yeah, but even then,
Yeah.
those sports back in the days for us was completely different than
Yeah, very different. So
Very
I mean,
different. But what were
you
you
had
doing?
to put it. Yeah, I was gonna ask, what were you doing
What was
back
I
then?
doing? 18. I just started. Yeah, UC Irvine. I mean, I had a background a
went
little
to
bit.
college?
I went to college.
You schooled?
I
Schooled you?
wasted a few years of my life doing college, and then
Sweet.
Back then, it was not a waste. It was the only place you were gonna meet people.
Yeah,
That's true. That was your biggest influence. That was your biggest
Yeah,
network.
that's the only. Yeah, but sorry, go ahead.
it was good, but yeah, I had a little through my family, I had some background in business and not as much in real estate and all that. But yeah, if we're taking the conversation back to obviously the things that we know now, wish we could tell ourselves at 18. I mean, real estate, the age old, when's the best time to buy real estate? 10
Now.
years ago, right?
Yeah.
20
Now.
years ago or 30 years ago. So obviously not having money then, but if I knew investing in real estate was the key, then learning the skills like we know now, buying properties off market, raising money from other people, all these things of kind of piecing that together. Obviously starting then, it would be, we'd all be on our yacht right now in Cayman Islands.
Yeah, no joke.
Yeah.
Well, it's just even. I mean, I was surrounded by people that were very big drug dealers in the time, and I mean, the amount of money that they were making and the amount of money that they were moving. If I would have even known the knowledge that I have right now about capitalizing and investing that money in, it's like, damn, right now the portfolios that we would have, or the portfolios that I would have, the passive income that we would be making, it's mind-boggling. But at the same time, like I said, I don't want to be a hypocrite and say that I would change my whole entire life, because a lot of it taught me what I am right now.
Oh yeah, it brings you to today. But I mean, if we're talking to somebody who's 18 right now,
Yes.
and you're trying to, I just had a meeting with a new agent today who came in the office,
Yeah.
and I mean, a little older, like around 40, but basically she's a brand new agent. Had some other experience, NMLS, lending, doing some sales and some other stuff. But I was basically trying to push together in 10 minutes what she should be doing with everything right now. And, it's obviously building your network and reaching out to, she told me that her father did real estate, so she could have a network there of people who have, past transactions. And then she sold like water utility rights or something for apartment buildings prior. So something to do with apartment buildings. So she has like, a few hundred contacts of apartment buildings that she's dealt with. I'm like, those are your best avenues to start building that network out, reaching out to people and starting to build that network back up so you can kind of do transactions. Obviously that'd be her route right now, I think.
What about things you guys would avoid? Like so those there's advice I'd give, but there's like also things that I did, like that I think habits, I mean, okay, sorry. 18-year-olds today have a very different life than us. Like 18 then, like you had a bubble around you at that age then. Like barely even had a phone, had kind of a pager. So you had to like walk up to people and say hi to meet them. You didn't have the same. So like if you didn't have if you didn't have people around you could like look at and say, okay, I want to do that kind of stuff, you really didn't have much. But for me back then, I would say habits, being around the people that I was around, but having slightly better habits. I could say that today too. That's a good thing today. But then, you didn't have any accountability. Like there was really, if you were even remotely an adult, 18 or on, you could kind of be an island and no one would know the difference. You go sit down somewhere and no one would ever find you. Like there's no GPS on you. There's nothing.
No Facebook, no
that stuff. No stuff. Barely. I wasn't even MySpace. It was Yahoo.
Facebook.
I still remember when I used to if I was dating a girl and I would have to call her, I would have to sometimes answer or call her, and her dad would pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Now you have to ask the dad.
Yeah.
Is your daughter home? That shit was intimidating.
Yeah, but avoid I
Help
think
you build social skills though.
Yeah, tremendously.
Yeah.
Break the ice. Not.
Hey, is your daughter there?
Imagine back in the days, we used to have to go up and get rejected.
Oh my
face
God.
to face.
I know.
You had to build up the actual vocabulary, being able to actually have some kind of knowledge of anything.
That is where all of my ability to speak and stuff came from.
Yeah.
It's like having to push past those fears.
Yeah.
All of it.
Nowadays, it's just a swipe.
Yeah, you don't. It's like it's a foregone conclusion what the rest of the night's supposed to look like.
Yep.
And it's like if it's not that, something went wrong. Where back then you physically had to start a relationship from scratch and that kind of. So for me, I think there'd be things I avoid, and then the only other thing I would say is anything that was game changing. So for me, game changing, I didn't have a lot, man. When I got to school, I think being forced into. Okay, I'll say this. Forced into environments that were not already my own. That thing. So when you said I have to move, I had to physically go somewhere else and be around other people to adapt into whatever that was. So there were a couple points where I had to do that. I went to 4 high schools in 4 years and then 2 colleges over the course of college.
Military or what was it?
No, honestly, that's always the question. my parents just happened to move around a lot at that one time of life. Like, got different jobs. I transitioned from, I was at so Villanova Preparatory School in Ojai. I went there and I did terribly. I couldn't figure out the curriculum. I was really bad at school. And so I went to the public school down the street, and this would be a really good lesson on public and private. I got like a 3.5 like that next. Oh yeah, it was like a very different environment. So I did really well in school, but I knew but every year I had to figure out how to fit in with the new group. Where it's like, now we can take our friends group with us wherever we go.
Yeah.
Like if it's us and you go to Ohio, I still see you on my phone over here in Orange County. So back then, being in those other environments, each time I did it, I had to adapt quickly. And that's a skill that is, it's a great skill to get, but there's no reason to get it today because you can take all your stuff with you. And so for me, that was a game-changing tool, was being in environments that were not comfortable and having to find comfort quickly so I could maneuver.
That's like a sales skill, which I think is, I mean, one of the most important skills that you can kind of develop early on is just, even if it's you're selling mobile phones in the mall, which I think, podcaster I listened to did, or whatever it is, if you're in exposed to sales early, I mean, whatever you do, and actually, it's going to help you. It's going to help you.
That's actually, I think, one of the reasons that I'm in sales, because I got exposed to it very early. Like, if going back to the question, I would go back to my 18-year-old self and tell myself, don't care about your relationships right now. Like, don't get so emotionally attached to all the friends that you're building up with in school.
Yeah.
Chances are you're not going to fucking see them anymore. Like, no offense. Like, you're not.
Well, it was still a good experience for you, and you had to.
Look, I'm not taking away part of the experience. I'm just.
No,
I put a lot of pressure on, like, dude, those are my friends. I got to go with them. I got to migrate. I got to do all this other stuff. And then hindsight 2020, you graduate out of high school and you're like,
never talked to them.
What the hell are you guys? Like, well, if it wasn't for social media, chances are you would have never seen these people again.
Never.
Ever again.
Well, I completely align with what you're saying because I was so loyal to like everybody. And so, cause I didn't have a good friend group for like until I got to college when I got into the sports there. So I was in sports in high school, but I went to Fort High School, so I couldn't like get in the group. In college, I was with the same group for a long time. And so I was like crazily bloodletting loyal to these people, but like, you drift. And it's like, you start getting really bummed out that people are starting to drift and didn't make sense. It's
a far and few amount of friends that are going to appreciate the changes you go through as an entrepreneur, as you keep building your wealth or things like that. Cause you become a different person. Right. And God willing. But in that whole time frame, like I still have really good relationships. Like my son's godfather is a really good friend of mine that I was a friend with since high school. Yeah. Right. So I still have a couple of those really good relationships or great experiences. I just wouldn't put so much effort and emphasis into caring about what these people think. And then just build what you said, like build that comfort level and go talk to different groups. Become a person that you have to be adaptable to whatever scenario you put in front of.
I would do that. I did. You would. It didn't. Well, no. No. I'm sorry. That's not what I was going to say. What I was going to say is I can remember now not doing certain things or staying in my lane, so to speak, because of the impact I thought it might have on the current relationships I had.
Yes.
And so it didn't, I mean, long term, I can't say it affected me too much because even I didn't have a lot of information either. But I can remember doing that. I can remember not doing things or pushing myself in a certain direction because it would do something positive in the friend group or whatever that was. Back then, like, I don't know. I guess maybe it was more important than it is today. I don't know how it is for kids today.
Well, even today, dude, like I talked to my son who's about to be a senior in high school and it's the same thing. Yeah. Oh, Jesus. I'm Mexican. I started young. What can I say? Stupid. So no, I mean, I look at those examples, like the experiences that I lived, and I tell my son, I was like, try everything, dude.
Does he got that going with the kids though? Like you said,
his friendships, his loyalties are insane. But he kind of lived like what you went through, where we moved a bunch of times. So my son's been to multiple different high schools, and the experiences he's going to live are different than my daughters or my other two kids. Because of the simple fact that, like I told him, I was like, dude, one thing I regret is that I didn't try a lot of shit in high school.
Yeah, dude.
I didn't get into
I was afraid to do stuff.
I didn't get into any of those things. Like,
dude, my friend, one of my best friends on the planet, I didn't even know this existed. You probably would. Like, I didn't. No, you would because you seem to do better in school than I did. I couldn't even get to UC. I barely got into Long Beach State, which now apparently is really hard to get into. But he went on this thing called Semester at Sea. You ever heard of that?
Yes.
I knew you'd hear about it. I didn't know about this. He all of a sudden he's one of my best friends. He's like, hey, yeah, I'm going to go on a ship liner for 6 months.
Was he working on it, or was he learning? Or
he was a student. He was in school.
So we had RP, the same thing. ROP
I was
was
like, I didn't know
you
this.
try all
I
these
didn't even know
things.
this existed. Like, but that kind of thing. But here's the thing: when he told me about it, I was like, that's awesome. And at the same time, I thought, but fuck, I have to leave everybody.
Yeah.
Like I was like,
Dude, it was
dude. How
so
much
for
fun
us,
would that be?
For us, it would have been different. Like for me, it was. I don't want to be one of those nerdy kids. Like those kids are geeky. They're not cool. Like they don't fit in. Like I want to know. Yeah. Like seriously.
I
Like
studied abroad in Cambridge and in Paris for a summer, but yeah.
Was
I mean,
it that one of those programs?
Yeah, this was in college, yeah.
dude,
man.
it's same thing. I graduated. I loved school, but because of the circle of influence who I was, and trying to be the tough kid and all this other stuff, you couldn't really show that you were a nerd, right?
It's kind of hard to get a book out
yeah.
and read.
So I graduated with a
Harley.
3.8. That was like a 3.84 GPA.
No shit.
But at the same time, I had to be cool.
It's like a 2.
You know, and I look at it and I'm like, holy shit! Like if I would have put more effort and emphasis
Oh, you
into
would
it,
have probably been
AP students and all
yeah.
that other stuff, I just didn't want to be in it because when I was there, my circle of influence, we looked at those people and we're like, they're nerds.
You'd get
They're not
beat up.
cool. They get beat up. They get picked on. And then I see some of them right now and they like own tech companies. They own all this other stuff. And like, that's what I would do. Like I would go back to myself and smack myself in the back of the head and be like,
Yeah.
try everything, dude. I wouldn't go to 18. I would probably go to like 14 or 15 years old
Yeah.
and be like, don't give a shit about what people think about you.
You
Just
know,
try it.
you know who Tim Ferriss is, right?
No.
He get 4-hour work week.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
yes,
I mean,
yes.
I applied no strategy in school. Like the stuff that I learned strategically and work after in this world that we're in now, there's so many fucking corners I could have cut and still made it work and done well. And I didn't know how to apply any of that information.
See, I probably did that, but without even knowing who that was. Like
You
at the
probably
time,
did.
I remember I would be so ahead of my classes, but I wouldn't tell the teacher, or I wouldn't tell any of the only one I was very advanced with was math.
Yeah.
Math, I would leave our high school to go to a college campus and then come back for my last 2 periods.
That's insane.
But again, like I
smart
wouldn't
and
tell.
stuff.
I love numbers, dude. Numbers were my thing. But again, I wouldn't tell anybody because I was trying to not look like a
I get
geeky
it.
person
Yeah.
because I wanted to keep the coolness or
yeah,
like,
yeah.
be
Yeah.
part of the cool circle and
Yeah,
not be
me
part of the
too,
geeky
me too.
circle.
I did that
Like,
too.
I wouldn't give a shit. Like,
That was
now,
not cool.
but that was the thing, dude. Like,
I was on the water polo team. I did all the AP and IB classes and all that stuff, and I still wasn't cool. So
Yeah.
but now you are.
Oh, I'm so cool.
So cool, dude.
Now
So
now you could be cool enough to drive the kind of cars you drive, lifestyle you live. That's the thing. Like a lot of the things that I wish I would have done at a lot younger age is what I would tell myself. Like, just invest more, learn about, passive income, learn how to manage your money better.
Specific skill.
I actually, you made me think this is the number one advice. If I wasn't good at it, I didn't do it. I merged with the group. I was really good in the sport. That was good enough. And because so if it was school, like there's things I gravitate to that are very creative and more socially driven. Like I'm good in those worlds. The stuff that was harder for me, I wasn't a strong reader. They didn't have Google Read and stuff like that. I was not a strong reader. Yeah. So stuff like that, but you had to do those things. So like, there were things that I wasn't good at. And if I wasn't good at it, I would go where I was good. And today there's value to that in some ways.
Yes.
But I also have to force through things like, if you're not good at bookkeeping, you own business, you don't get to not do that. Like you have to figure that out too. Like
You can
so,
pay
there's
somebody to
things.
do that. Yeah.
We'll pay,
I don't
but-
think there's
No, but you
necessarily
understand,
bad that you're focusing on things that you're.
No,
good
but
at.
I mean, but I
But I get what you're saying.
My point was
Yeah.
is that there are things where I should have dug in and
Yes.
learned them, even if I wasn't, because I just automatically I'm like, I'm over there.
Yeah.
I know.
And-
I do that. If you actually put yourself in situations, I do that. I try and do that right now. I put myself in situations that I don't want to be in.
Yeah.
Whatever social situations or
Yeah.
or just learning things that I don't want to learn.
Well, right now,
that
yeah,
I don't enjoy.
I'm even so. I mean, God, man, 18 years and 20 years down the road, kids and all the other responsibilities we have now, like the things that I would prepare myself for today, get a lot more comfortable with that stuff early because you're gonna find it on the road somewhere. And so, like that'd be a big thing for me. Is like, I know you don't like this now, but you really need to work on it now.
Dude, it's one thing I would have done more of public speaking.
Yeah.
Like I hate public speaking, dude. Like that's not my niche. Like I'm good at talking to people, but like public speaking, damn, that shit terrifies me.
That's the number one fear in the world.
Yeah.
Over death.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would have done that more. I would have been in speech and debate. I would have loved to travel with the school, like going to the state of Washington, seeing all the monuments and everything else. Like, that's what I tell my daughter right now. Like, my daughter, she's on Mater Day. I tell her, get into choir, dude. They're going to go to Greece next year. I'm like,
pretty cool.
travel.
Yeah.
Like, dude, do the whole
My dad
thing.
said
Like,
shit like that, and I was like, when I was
yeah,
there,
and that's like, I'm looking at it right now because I see my daughter and I'm like, damn, you're exactly like I was. Like, you think you're too cool.
like,
you think you know it
shit.
all. You think you're.
Why doesn't she doesn't want to do choir?
She's very like reserved.
Oh.
Yeah, she's very reserved. She
Yeah.
has a gorgeous voice. Like whenever she sings at home, and like I tell her all the time, I was like, get into choir, dude. Just get into
Yeah.
choir. It's like, who cares what people think? Just do it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of us, I think one of the biggest things, like back looking at the age of 18, even younger, the first thing I would have told myself is, stop worrying about what people think. No one even gives a shit about you.
Yeah.
No one even knows you exist.
Yeah.
Like stop putting so much pressure about like they're gonna judge how you dress, how you talk, who you hang out with. No one gives a shit. No one does. Like just go out there, do you. At the end of the day, if that person's gonna make fun of you, it's easier to cut someone out than it is to actually keep them there and be a fake person yourself.
Yeah, I think
know?
the advice. I mean, I totally get it. The advice to make that make sense to some that's perfect. What we need then.
Yeah.
It's different for kids today and how they receive advice on like social media bullying
Well,
and that
bullying
kind of
and all
stuff.
that shit right now
Yeah.
is completely different.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because I mean, like,
you can't hide back
No.
then. Like you can get your nose knocked back
Oh,
then.
yeah.
Today,
dude, my son gets text messages from people getting bullied at other schools, and I'm like, how the hell do you guys like? How does that work? Like they're making fun of one kid because of the way he dresses at another school. Like back in the days, like we didn't even know that there was other schools around. Like that's it. That was
Mike
the county
Tyson
that you're
said
in, and
something
that's
really
it.
Fun. Do you remember? Mike Tyson said something about bullying within the last year. He's like, the internet gave. What did he say?
Oh, bullies of power.
Yeah, well something about the internet basically making it so people don't have to be accountable for what they say and get knocked in the face.
Yeah.
Like something like that. It's like, dude, just
Yeah, you can hide
punch in the
behind a
nose.
screen and
Yeah.
a keyboard.
Yeah.
Keyboard warriors is what he calls it too.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like I said, even then though, like it sucks now because looking back at 18, we didn't have any of these things. Like there wasn't social media to hold people accountable. There's not like people that can put you on blast in those type of scenarios because back in our time, putting you on blast was just with the circle.
This is our
circle
time.
Well, like
This is our
18,
fucking time.
18, dude. Like when we were
Yeah.
18,
Back in the day.
our circle of influence back in those days was like the people you knew. That's it. Like that's it. You couldn't connect. For us, it was different. Like for me to go see family out of Mexico, we would have to physically go all the way out there and see them.
Yeah.
You know, now it's just you can click a button and you're talking to them FaceTime.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a lot easier right now if you find somebody you like or resonate with as a role model to like really even learn what they're doing
Yeah.
or study underneath them.
Although I will say, from whose it was what's his name's book, Steve Jobs' book. He said Hewlett Packard was in the Yellow Pages, and he looked him up and dialed his number.
Called him, asked him for some help.
Yeah.
and he gave it to him.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at it right now, like we could give ourselves advice at the age of 18 and just minute things. Buy 100 shares of Apple.
yeah. Okay, so
Like
that
shit.
that leads
Well,
into the
I
next
mean,
part.
I wouldn't focus on those things. I mean, I would think on the skills that that even somebody today at 18 could take away, which is obviously learning a skill
Yeah.
in real estate, learning
Kinda hard
how
to
to
say, go
find
buy
off-market
16 shares of
properties,
Apple.
things
Well, no,
like
the only
that.
reason I said that is because I experienced it through one of my clients who he was telling me the story of like with his kids for their birthdays, he wouldn't throw parties for them. He would always talk to him about like investing. So his daughter bought 5 shares of Apple back when she was 8 or 9 years old because that's the store that they drove by or whatever the situation is. Daughter's 52 now. Those 5 shares are leveraged out to $5.5 million.
Gnarly.
She never bought any more shares whatsoever at all. So like little things like that makes me do what I do with my kids right now.
But did she have a little bit of animosity for never getting a birthday party?
No, I've talked to her. I helped her buy a house here. She never did. I mean, I wouldn't have an animosity about having a birthday party if I had $5 million sitting in a stock.
Well, I mean,
Like I don't care about no birthday party.
anchored trauma. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody looks at it completely different. Like I said, like going back to the age of 18, there's so many things that I think we could tell ourselves. One thing is just kind of, if we were to narrow it down to just one thing for myself, would be fail more. Like stop trying to do this. Stop staying in your comfort zone, surrounded by people that you're comfortable with, surrounded by things that you're comfortable doing. Get the hell out and explore the world.
Yeah.
Like quicker. Because I mean, the way my life changed was when I left to Arizona and just failed completely.
Yeah. I like getting on. Man, I'll have to go last on that. There's a lot of thoughts I have going on, but I would say get uncomfortable. Like I really like the idea. oh God, it's so tough because I know that because we're talking about your daughter. I'm like, I know I wasn't going to listen to any of this shit. So saying it at 18 is not going to matter, but I'm not going to listen anyway.
Oh, the cool
But
part is
like,
my daughter doesn't listen to it.
yes, I'm saying it's like this is good advice. You should do this. It's like I'm not going to do it anyway. But like getting in situations, it was really hard for me to break the barrier of public speaking. Like I'm super comfortable in front of groups. But I wasn't. I was terrified of doing that stuff. But there were moments where I had to do something, and I had no choice backwards. I had to go forward. And so, like, I'll give an example. One of the electives for what we were doing as athletes, they give you just a bunch of random classes. One was like public speaking. It's like, it's meant to be a bullshit class, but it's like, you got to take it.
Dude.
It's like, you got it, but you physically have to do it. And so you have to give talks over the course of, the year or whatever, the semester. And so there's these moments where you have to do the thing. And so those helped. So I would say taking that small understanding of that, when you have to push through these things that aren't comfortable, it's gonna apply. It's gonna be good on the other side and affect that other places where you're also not good. Because it's okay to apply if I'm not good at it, I'll hire somebody else. That's true, but you won't know if they're doing it right or not unless you have some knowledge base.
Yeah.
And so you got to raise the water levels on everything to be good across the board. I would say you can't really tell people not to, like, you should go buy that, go buy 2 of those Bitcoins. Like, who knew back then?
No, I
but
can actually appreciate that significantly because even like,
God, I
for
would've,
instance, for me with my restaurants, I worked in every position in the restaurant before I even opened up the doors to other employees. So when I talk to employees and they give me some bullshit excuse like, oh, that's hard to do. It's like, no, it's not. It's like, we've done it. Like, we know every square inch of this place. We've built it from scratch. We've worked in every position. We've worked in every station. Like, don't give me that bullshit. So I agree with you 1,000,000% on that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just, there's just so many crazy things because that's a very interesting question because it makes your mind.
Yeah, what's tough about this because, like, what advice would you give that they'd actually fucking take?
Because life is different right now.
Yeah, well, no, not just right now, but it's like, think about when you're 18. I wasn't taking people's advice. Like, you took.
Well, if you think about it, back in our days, in order for us to, and I keep saying that like if we're freaking ancient, but back in that time, in order for you to get the knowledge that you can at the click of a button right now, you got to go to the library. And even going to the library,
a very different keyboard.
Dude, even going to the library, you didn't even know what the hell you were looking for. Right?
Yeah.
Right now, you're surrounded by people that are always hungry.
There's too much information.
There's an insane amount of, there's professional learners than there are more entrepreneurs in the world right now. There's so many people learning all these traits, all these things, getting super overwhelmed with all this information out there and implementing shit.
Yeah.
Like, they're not doing anything. They're taking absolutely no action. When we were younger, it would be difficult to even be surrounded by, it was so difficult to be in close proximity with an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember that many entrepreneurs. And even then, like, your influence was who you surrounded yourself with every single day. So my lifestyle was just,
thing, right?
But even right now, it's completely different because, like, I love what we created. I love the environment, the mindset, the ambition to actually grow and do all these things. But even then, like, once we leave, we're on the internet. We can see all these things. Like, there's just so much access to so much information that you're overwhelmed. Yeah. So, like, right now, like I tell my son, learn the small trades, dude. Those are the things that are going to be overlooked, like plumbing, air conditioning, all the hands-on things that nobody wants to do.
Can't get replaced.
They can't get replaced, but all these kids want to be YouTubers. All these kids want to be entrepreneurs online, and
podcast.
They want to do drop shipping and AI and all this other stuff. It's like
courses.
Cool.
Yeah.
When there's toilet breaks, how are they going to fix it? Like, those are things that you got to think about. So like, I think for us, like, it's easy to think about like how to give yourself advice because back when we were younger, it was not as easily accessible as it is right now.
Yeah.
Right now it's just, I think you're a dumbass if you fail. Like, really, really put effort and emphasis into it. Like, not trying to learn, not trying to emphasize, not trying to invest, not know about credit, not know about FICOs, not know about anything in this world. Like, you really have to be sheltered, surrounded by nothing but numb nuts all over the world.
It's about focus and it's about discipline, right? I mean, it doesn't matter what it is if you want to work toilets. I mean, if that's what you want to do, I mean, you could start a plumbing company and really grow that.
Shit, the plumber I help, he makes close to $2.5 million a year.
Right. So, I mean, anything you focus on and have the discipline to do on a daily basis and grow can be good. So.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so I think, if that'd be the thing for me is that whatever, just don't be afraid to go through the stuff that is not comfortable. Like, it's okay. Like, I'll say be afraid of it, but for me, there was a lot of things I just didn't do it because it was hard and there's stuff that I was really good at and I could excel there, and that stuff would go away.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have to do it. Like, I could do this. And they do it with athletes all the time in school. It's like, well, I mean, we'll set you up, but like, we're going to go do this over here, and this takes care of that. And you're not really good at that. And so that stuff still exists. You still have to get good at it to some degree. And so for me, in where we're at in my day, whatever the shit we want to say, but at 18, in that world that we had then, there were things that you probably have to be better at. And if I was good at that, learning more about investing, anything about investing, it's only through the work and self-development I even learned about the world of investing. And so all that stuff, like getting into the world of how are you going to pay yourself without having to work, like just answering that question. Like, the one thing I would say is,
how can you make your money work?
Understand that, like, that there is money to be made while you're not working, and if you do not understand how that works, you need to go in there, because that'd be a big thing for me. Is I never touched any of that. As far as I knew, you got a job. That's what I was taught, and so I didn't want that, obviously, and didn't happen. But I was taught that over and over and over again. If you want to get anywhere, you're going to go get a good job, get a good education, get a good resume. I mean, we're all taught that, and so, but I
think all of us heard that whole statement of, in order to be successful, you had to get a college degree.
Exactly. College degree, a good resume, good references.
We got that from our folks.
Yeah, exactly. Well, exactly. But I mean, it's not what I really wanted. And it's like, you kind of know that, but I would say that you get in that space and learn how to do the stuff that would let you be entrepreneurial. I learn more of that. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even looking at it right now, like I tell my son, don't get so overwhelmed about trying to be an entrepreneur by yourself. Like right now, I think the biggest change or differentiator in the market right now is there's so many people overwhelmed and trying to do everything by themselves.
Yeah.
You know, I always tell my son, learn what you're good at and build a team around you.
Yeah.
And then you could build an empire. Like that's just the easiest way to actually become successful right now. Everybody wants to be a business owner right now. I talk to so many people that are like, "Oh, dude, I want to be a business owner." I was like, "Do you understand the shit you got to go through?"
They don't understand.
Like, do you understand the long nights, the sleepless nights? Like, even for us right now, dude, we're sitting here, we're coasting. Our portfolio in St. Louis, like they just ran through a freaking tornado, right?
Sure.
And it's like, holy shit, even your investments. But I look at it right now and I'm like sitting, damn, that's amazing, dude. We have investments in a whole different other state.
I know.
And that's like mind-boggling to a lot of people.
I know. Yeah,
right?
it's cool.
Because, I mean, when I was younger, it was even hard to just invest into one house.
Yeah.
Right? It was hard to even trust. Like, how can I even own something so far away if I don't know anybody? I can't see it. There's no cameras. Like, all that other stuff. Like, dude. So, I mean, like right now, I tell my son all the time, I was like, dude, stop thinking that you got to own a company by yourself. Yeah. Because there's so much information out there where everybody thinks the owner is like individual. He runs everything. He does everything. It's all only him by himself.
Yeah.
And there's so many people that fail because they think, oh, dude, I'm not succeeding fast enough. So if I were to give myself a word of advice at the age of 18 right now, it would be that. Like the 18 right now, like my son turning 18 would be learn what your key like strong traits are, grow them, and then be that
push
piece.
him to teach him how to use AI. I mean, take all those.
Oh yeah, dude.
That's the. If you're talking to an 18-year-old right now, that's probably a big key.
One last thought from you, Tom. What do you think? AI?
Because it sounds like your life was perfect at 18, by the way.
You're like, I would just build robots.
No struggles.
Build robots, make them work.
It's like at 18, I would go back and do it again.
Yeah. What's one last piece? What do you think?
I mean, there's a lot of, I would take it back to, I mean, if we're talking about real estate, I mean, there's a lot of key factors that kind of were very important. I think the one that we're using in St. Louis is OPM. It's other people's money. If you're able to learn that skill and really get into real estate and find deals, and obviously at 18, you probably aren't sitting on $1 million of cash or a lot of cash. And the next best thing is talking to people, raising money and using their money, leveraging their money to get into deals. And that can be, it doesn't have to be just real estate. I mean, you can, start a company. You can, any idea that you want to grow, you can use other people's money to.
There's a whole other episode on that. Yeah, that's gonna be a big deal.
Yeah,
cool.
But OPM. I mean, obviously investing, obviously off market stuff. I mean, you could be 18, you can start door knocking and find deals.
I don't think 18-year-olds know the kind of money they can break into. The barrier is not existent. How much money they can make. Well, cool.
That's
good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, unless any last final thoughts, we good?
Oh, we're good.
All right. Awesome. All right, y'all. Well, listen, thanks for being here on this episode. We got a lot of these coming out, and we're going to talk more and more to you about the things that we've done to grow our business and trying to relate it back to you in the life that you're probably growing from now. A lot of people trying to get into real estate now as the market turns and make more and more money. And the good news is it is wide open. There's so many things happening that no one's even paying attention to, and we're going to do our best to give you information as it comes up to us. We'll see you right here on the next episode. Brian, Red, and Tom, it's always great to have you. We'll see you next time.
Peace.
Good.
Peace in the
All
Middle
right.
East, rain in Spain.
Good first restructure.
No.